Barnaby Jones. Starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather. With guest stars Bradford Dillman, Marge Doucet, Patricia Smith, Mara Claire Costello. Tonight's episode, The Deadlier Species.
But I felt like a teenager. I kept trying to talk, and he kept trying to make out. I should have her problems. Was he good looking?
Well, I think Nicky makes a very good point, Helen. You were worried about your image and how you were supposed to feel, instead of how you really felt about him and what you wanted to do.
Tell me, Robert, what is it? Have I done something wrong?
Ruth, nothing is wrong.
Then why are you avoiding me?
I've been very busy, as I am right now, so we'll discuss it later. Okay?
Aren't you a little early for your appointment, Mr. Lockman?
Just chalk it up to the impatience of impending retirement. Tomorrow, after 30 years of practice, I'm closing my law office. Well, is Miss Blake available?
No, but she asked that I speak with you.
Ah, fine. Well, in phasing out two of my clients, I came across some discrepancies that I thought you could help clear up for me.
Discrepancies? I don't understand.
Madeline Howard and Helen Wrightson.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you handle their financial investments.
Well, I give them advice, but Sylvia Blake, our director, is adamant that the women here at the center be captains of their own ships.
Admirable woman, Miss Blake. But the financial statements that my clients receive from me will leave something to be desired.
Oh? Well, I think you'll find that your clients are doing very well.
Yes, until you look into their holdings. Now, in 4 separate stocks, both clients are listed as owners of duplicate numbered shares.
Well, I'm sure you'll find that's nothing more than a clerical error.
Well, I can understand duplication in 1 entry, but not 4. Now, you'll save me a lot of trouble if you just let me see the actual certificates so that I can confirm that my clients do own the shares that they paid for.
Well, it's going to take me a little time to dig those up because the stock certificates are in a safety deposit box.
All right, just have them by my office later today, yeah? It's important that I have everything wrapped up by tomorrow.
Very well.
Thank you. There's nobody here to let you in at this hour.
I'm Sylvia Blake, Mr. Lockman. Apologize for not being able to come down to your office this afternoon.
Nice to meet you. Well, did you bring the securities?
Oh, yes, right here. Okay. This should clear everything up.
Let me have a look. This is just a list. I mean, this is no better than the one I have in my den. I need proof, Mr. Travis. Don't you understand that I have to see the actual securities?
But Robert assured me that with a short
I'm
amount
sure
of time...
that it's just going to take me a few days to get my hands on the certificates themselves.
I don't know about Miss Blake, but there's no point in continuing the charade for me, Mr. Travis.
Charade?
Well, when you didn't show this afternoon, I tried to clear the situation up alone. I called the various companies, and there's no sales record of anything to either of my clients The only record is to a house account registered in your name and Miss Blake.
Well, of course, but we only act as their nominees. It's a perfectly normal business procedure.
Well, you better explain it to the district attorney, because I'm turning everything over to him in the morning. Now, I believe we've said everything.
Mr. Lockman, as sophisticated men, we should be able to find a way that will avoid unnecessary unpleasantness. I mean, oversights happen, but we'd be willing to share the benefits that came with this particular mistake.
Are you trying to bribe me?
Just trying to find a mutually beneficial solution.
I think you better leave. Both of you. Out.
No!
Robert, he's dead.
I didn't mean to kill him. There was nothing else I could do. I mean, he would have ruined everything we worked for.
What do we do now?
Yeah, you get his financial statements out of the den. I'll take care of everything here. We'll move! Did you find him?
Yes. What are you doing?
Making it look like an accident. He was caulking the underside of the boat. One of the braces gave way, and it fell on him. Stand back.
Your father must have loved boats.
We used to sail every chance we could. Please, Mr. Jones, will you help me?
Rita, I don't know if I can. From the look of things, I'm inclined to go along with the police report. It was an accident. Your father was under the boat working. He tried to move some of the shoring, and the boat fell on him.
But it didn't happen that way. There wasn't any reason for Daddy to be under the boat. He'd already finished the rough sanding, and I was going to do the caulking. Daddy couldn't.
He couldn't? Why not?
He was allergic to the caulking material. He broke out in hives bigger than tomatoes every time he tried to caulk the boat.
Well, now, you know, there's nothing that upsets my stomach more than dill pickles. Yet put me down next to a hot pastrami sandwich, and I still reach for the pickle.
Daddy was hospitalized last year. They warned him another allergic attack could be fatal.
From what you told me about your father, he didn't sound like the kind of a man who would ignore that kind of medical advice.
Then will you investigate his murder, Mr. Jones?
I'm not ready to call it a murder. But there is a question here that ought to be looked into.
What's troubling you?
Well, you know what's troubling me.
But I told you not to worry. The police have listed Lockman's death as an accident.
It's not just his death. It's what you and I've become. In the beginning, I had such big dreams for the center, and now...
But you can still have them. It's just that you have to pay a big price for big dreams.
Well, I'm not sure I want them if I have to steal them.
It's not stealing when you take what's rightfully yours. You work miracles with these women. They could never pay what your service is truly worth.
But if I could just believe that I really...
You've got to. Come on. Look how far you've come. Remember when I found you, you were counseling housewives in that Valley Center for $100 a week?
Yes, and I was doing what I wanted to do.
With no life, no future. Let's face it, you needed management. Because fads come and go.
I'm not a fad.
Well, ideas, huh? Ideas change. And what's in 1 minute's out the next. Now, when that time comes, you're going to want to be financially independent if you're going to continue your work.
Is that all you're really interested in, my work?
No. No, it's you and you know it. I love you, Sylvia.
And I love you. I need you so much.
It's what you've always said. An emancipated woman is one who recognizes her needs and fulfills them. Same advice holds true for a man.
Thank you.
Who was that?
I sent for the autopsy report on George Lockman. Did you find out anything at his office?
Nothing of any help.
No evidence of swelling in the upper respiratory tract. No edema. Normal level of histamines.
Could you explain that?
Yeah, that means that young Rita Lockman may be right. No elevation of the histamine level means there was no allergic reaction before he died.
Well, then he couldn't have been caulking the boat.
Not with oakum, he couldn't. I'll bet you 10 bushels to a peck that somebody put his body under that boat and tried to make it look like an accident.
But Mr. Lockman had no enemies. He was well-liked, unquestionable integrity, dedicated. Who would want to see him dead?
That's the question, all right. Did his secretary notice anything out of the ordinary the past week or two?
No, but she let me borrow his appointment book, but everything looks all right.
These names in here, are they just clients?
Yes, all but one. Sylvia Blake.
Sylvia Blake, she's a girl from the feminist movement?
She's the woman from the Female Consciousness Center, Barnaby.
What business did Lockman have with her?
Well, the secretary didn't know, but she thought possibly one of his other clients, Madeline Howard, might know. After her divorce, she attended Sylvia Blake's center. Listen, if you're headed out to the center, be careful. Sylvia Blake may just brainwash you.
It's too late. Mrs. Jones beat her to it 30 years ago. I've been investigating the death of an attorney, Mr. George Lockman. He had an appointment with you the afternoon before he died.
An appointment? I'm afraid I've never met him, Mr. Lockman.
Funny. Wonder why he'd have your name in his appointment book.
Sylvia, these need signing right away.
Okay. Robert, this is Mr. Jones. He's a private investigator.
How do you do?
Mr. Travis is our controller here. See? Do you remember George Lockman having an appointment to see me?
Lockman.
Friday.
Right. Yes, he called, but he never showed up.
Did he say why he wanted to see Miss Blake?
No, he didn't. Why don't you ask him?
I'm afraid that's going to be impossible. Mr. Lockman is dead. I was hired to look into that.
Some mystery?
No, but police had it listed as an accident, and sometimes it pays to check into those things. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, Ms. Blake. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your time.
Robert, I waited for you until midnight last night.
Yes, well, I didn't say definitely that I'd come by. I've been very busy.
I understand. I know what a strain you must be under. Else, why would you have told that detective you hadn't seen Mr. Lockman when you know he was here just last Friday? Oh, Robert, we do need each other, don't we?
Yes. I suppose I have been neglecting you.
But no more, Robert. Hmm?
Everyone predicted an out-and-out disaster when I opened this restaurant. Thank you. I'll serve it. I don't know what I'd have done without Sylvia and Mr. Travis.
Mr. Travis, he is the controller at the center.
Financial wizard, that's what he is.
And he helped you with your finances.
Help? I turned my entire divorce settlement over to him. And since then, I've seen a 23% leap. You like it? Oh, good.
23%? Maybe I ought to consult with him myself.
Well, you'd be smart if you did. I told my friend Helen about it, and her results are as good as mine.
Helen, she go to the center?
Yeah? Yeah, she still does. Helen Wrightwood.
Did she also use the same attorney, Mr. Lockman?
That's how I met him.
On the day before he died, Mr. Lockman's appointment book had you down for lunch. Did he make it over here?
Oh, we had a wonderful talk. He was so pleased about the way things were working out for me.
Did he ask any questions about your investments, your relationship with Mr. Travis, Ms. Blake?
Well, we talked about him, but, well, only in a general way. I'm sorry. I really wish I could have helped you more.
Well, maybe you've helped more than you think.
Oh?
I never met your husband, but if he walked away from food like this, he's a very foolish man.
You know, the truth is that he didn't. He still comes by here for dinner at least 3 times a week.
I believe it.
Thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ruth heard me lie to Jones. She saw Lockman the day he was here. I don't like it.
I don't like this either. I checked Mr. Jones out in town. He's good. Has a reputation of being a bulldog. Never lets up.
Madeline's quite a cook, isn't she?
I haven't tasted stew like that since my grandmother used to let the pot simmer all day over a hardwood fire.
We both owe Sylvia a lot. You should have seen the shape we were in when we got here.
You planning to stay here much longer?
Oh, I'm coming down the stretch. Have to get a little more nerve to face the outside world again. But Sylvia's taking care of that.
Well, I understand Mr. Travis is taking care of your finances.
You should see my last statement.
I'd like to. That is, if it isn't too personal.
Why not? I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
What for? Not that I mind, of course.
Well, Ms. Wrightwood said she didn't mind.
I'm just wondering why you wanted to see her financial statement, that's all.
Well, I think I may have found the reason why Mr. Lockman intended to see you that day. He had thank you. He had a talk with both his clients, Ms. Wrightwood and Ms. Howard, about their investments.
Well, they could have shown him their own copies.
Perhaps that's what happened. He saw their copies and decided not to come all the way out here.
It's very impressive. You're quite a money manager, Mr. Travis.
Well, we're all very grateful to Robert. Financial success helps a woman have much more confidence.
It doesn't hurt a man's confidence either. Well, you know this area Is any place out here Mr. Lockman may have decided to visit on the day he intended to see you?
I don't know. Why do you ask?
Well, there's a filling station down the way here that has a credit card receipt for some gas that he bought on that day, and I was just wondering where he went.
It depends upon what he liked. There's hiking, boating, lots of scenery to look at.
Well, I had the impression that Mr. Lockman intended to view the scenery from the deck of his boat. Now, you'd think he'd hurry and finish his business so he could get to it, wouldn't you?
He knows.
He knows nothing. And he won't. As long as we can keep him away from Ruth.
And just how long do you think you can handle her?
I don't know. She said it nicely, but it still comes out blackmail. And there's only one way to handle that.
No.
Shh. Trust me. Trust me. Ruth's made it easy for us. It's all set up. Where? And how?
Oh, Robert, Robert. We'll have such a wonderful life together. As soon as we leave this place, just the two of us. I have plenty of money. We can travel. We can do the things we want to do. It'll be great. You'll see.
Reality looks a lot different in daylight than it does by candlelight, my darling.
Mine doesn't. Not as far as you're concerned. Do you know that's the only reason I stayed here so long? To be near you.
You mean that?
I never meant anything so much in my life.
Well, I might believe you if you got me another drink.
I'll get more ice.
Who's out there? Sylvia, what are you doing here?
Well, I just thought I'd stop by.
Sylvia, you...
Get our things together. There's still a lot we have to do. Come on, move! What's the matter?
The killing. It's getting easier, isn't it?
We did what we had to do, no more, no less. It's over now, so forget it. You bring the car around, then you help me finish up here. Come on!
Well, they weren't at the office.
Are you sure?
His secretary distinctly remembers putting both of the women's financial statements into his briefcase before he left.
Well, they're not here.
Then there's only one answer. Someone stole them.
I'd like to keep a few more options open for a moment.
You remind me so much of Daddy. Everything by the numbers.
Things add up better that way.
And what does this add up to?
I don't have a total yet. But I figured that whoever it was that was with your father when he died didn't subtract enough evidence to keep us from finding him.
Barnaby, you sound as though you're convinced that Lockman was murdered.
Well, I can't be positive, but I got a feeling there was something in those statements that sent Lockman out to Sylvia Blake's center.
I still can't believe that Sylvia Blake is involved.
Well, I could probably prove it to you if I knew what they were up to. But without those original statements, I'm in the dark, and there's no way for me to get a look at them.
Right. For you, there isn't.
Meaning?
Oh, just that I've always wanted to take some courses out at Sylvia Blake's.
Forget it, Betty.
Barnaby, they don't know me out there.
No, it won't work. Besides, it's too dangerous. If they kill Lockman, they wouldn't hesitate to kill again if they had to.
It's the only way. So I'm the only person who can get those files for you.
No, Betty.
Barnaby.
Absolutely no.
Yes, I know all about Miss Blake's work here. I read her book on a plane to Italy last month.
You've been traveling?
For a while, after my husband's death. I thought if I could keep moving, I would stop thinking. But, well, who was it? I think it was Emerson, who said that he thought he could escape by traveling. The only problem was that he kept running into the same person when he got off the boat. Himself.
That can be good or bad, depending on how we feel about ourselves.
Well, I suppose my self-esteem is not at an all-time high. The same could be said for my nerves.
Oh, would you like some brandy to come?
Oh, no, thank you. One drink and my defenses crumble.
We'll save it for another time, then.
Oh, Miss Blake.
Miss Enright is recently widowed, and she's interested in attending the center.
Well, tell me, Miss Enright.
Oh, please. Betty?
Sylvia. I overheard you telling Robert about your defenses. Is this some personal kind of NATO?
Oh, you might call it that. I'm afraid I've kept my feelings locked in an emotional straitjacket.
Well, that's not very unusual after a loss like yours.
Well, to be perfectly honest, it was happening while my husband was still alive. Poor Freddie thought money was the answer to everything. He had made a fortune by the time he was 30, and another by the time he was 40, and 45, a heart attack.
And you didn't have anyone to turn to after he died?
We're both orphans. I wonder if that was Fred's problem. I know it's still mine.
Any children?
Never were on the agenda. Sylvia, I'm lost. And I feel the answer is here with you in the center.
Well, it's just that we're very crowded right now.
Why don't we see if something can't be done?
If it's a question of money, I'll pay anything.
Suppose we call you.
All right. My number's on the application form. Please, try to find a place for me. Thank you.
Is that made in heaven? A widow, a fortune, no heirs or relatives, and you let her on just right.
I wasn't leading her on. I just
felt sorry for her.
Bob, you said that we would get out just in time. Now, I know it. I can just feel it in my bones.
Just as soon as we put the icing on the cake.
What do you mean?
Betty Enright, our last hurrah. And then we're through. I promise.
Don't! It's for me.
On my private line?
Hello? Yes, this is Betty Enright. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, yes, right away. Thank you so much. Bye.
Betty Enright?
That's the name I'll be under at the center.
Betty, I told you it was out of the question.
If I were a man, you wouldn't be against it.
It's too dangerous.
Barnaby, for the first time, being a woman in your business is an advantage, and I intend to use it.
No, what you mean is you don't intend to listen.
You put it so well.
Well, if you're determined, I guess I better start circulating your cover story in case they start checking your background.
And what a background it is.
I'll bet.
I feel certain you're gonna like it here, Betty.
Oh, it is beautiful.
There's a list of activities here on the table, Betty, and I would suggest that you sign up for all the sessions to start.
Oh, I wouldn't miss a one.
I'll see you later.
Oh, Sylvia, excuse me. What do most of the women wear to the sessions?
Always the #1 question. Whatever is in for you, Betty.
In?
In your mood. We're just trying to get our thing together, not a wardrobe.
I see.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Oh, hi, Sylvia. Ruth at home?
No, she left last night.
Left? Where'd she go?
Oh, well, she promised to drop us a line just as soon as she got settled.
If that's impossible, she didn't even say goodbye.
Well, it was just spontaneous, Helen. She apparently wanted just to break the cord, you know, and go back out in the world again.
Without her sample? I don't believe it.
That's the coat that she was talking about. She asked me to send it on to her just as soon as she sends us her address. Sylvia, you've got a session and I've got a stockbroker. Settle in. See you later.
Thanks for everything.
Hi, I'm Helen Wrightwood. Can I give you a hand?
Betty Enright, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Could you?
Yeah. You know, I don't understand it. Ruth wouldn't just pick up and go like that.
Well, perhaps the center changed her more than you knew. After all, their aim is to build self-confidence.
But based on mature behavior, not running away in the middle of the night.
Oh, listen, let's leave this. Maybe your friend left behind a cool drink for us,
And another thing, she has night blindness. She hates driving at night. Now, what could be so important that she couldn't wait until morning?
I don't know. Oh, well, there could have been, you know, any number of different... Helen, look.
It's a stone from Ruth's ring.
Are you sure?
It's her pride and joy. She calls it her emancipation gift to herself.
Well, there must be some explanation.
Betty, something's wrong. She confided just about everything to me. She was having an affair with Travis. Now, if they had a fight, that would explain her leaving in such a hurry. But it doesn't explain this.
Where are you going?
To find Sylvia and get some answers.
Helen, if something is wrong, remember, Sylvia and Mr. Travis told you that she left. Don't you think that we'd have a better chance of getting to the truth if you kept your suspicions to yourself for now and until we find out more about Ruth's disappearance?
Happy?
I don't know. I know I'm not sad anymore.
I'd like to think that I had something to do with that.
Something. You're the first man I've related to since Fred died.
Are you always this frank?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's good. There are no facades. Sylvia feels
Oh,
that...
I see. No, I'm really interested in what you feel.
I didn't offend you.
Oh, you just shook me up a bit. Right down to my bootstraps. Robert, please, I'm getting confused.
Is that bad?
No. It's the nicest feeling I've had in a long time. But
Well, what's wrong?
Well, if you'll just give me some time, I'll think of something.
All right. I tell you what. I'll give you until, say, 8 o'clock this evening. You drop by my office. I should be finished by then. And I promise you, I'll not only have an answer to all your confusion, I'll even walk you back to your cabin. Date?
You're 10 minutes late. 5 more minutes and I'd have come in after you.
I'm sorry, Barnaby, but I'm afraid this goes a lot deeper than we thought. One of the women here, a Ruth Granger, has disappeared. Or at least so a friend of hers thinks.
What made a friend suspicious?
Well, Ruth left behind a diamond as big as an egg. I'm sure she wouldn't have left without it. And yet Travis and Sylvia say that she left on her own.
Okay, I can check that out. But I'm taking you out of here. Travis is beginning to check you out like the prize heifer at a county fair.
He tried that in person, too. But Barnaby, I can't leave now. I'm so close. He's invited me to his office this evening.
Betty, if the Granger woman is missing, that makes 2 people who may be dead.
Please, Barnaby, don't make me leave. I know I can get those files. And without them, it's just so much circumstantial...
You don't have to explain to me the rules of evidence. What time does Travis expect you?
8 o'clock. Are you going to let me do it?
Yeah, but not alone. I'll drop by at 5 minutes after 8. I'll try to occupy Travis's attention while you go through the files. If he doesn't go for it, you fold your tent and beat it back to your cabin, you hear?
Yes, sir.
No matter what happens, I want you back in your cabin by 8:15. I'm taking you out of here, files or no files, you hear?
Message received and recorded, sir.
And Betty, be careful.
You're beginning to sound like me.
Betty, you look wonderful.
Here I thought investment counselors were only interested in numbers.
Not always. But there will be one happy woman tomorrow when she gets a look at this statement.
I heard the women say that you're a financial wizard.
I don't know about that, but the numbers in these portfolios all seem to be going in the right direction. But I don't want to bore you with talk about money.
Oh, it's not boring. Frankly, I don't know the first thing about finances, except I write a check and get what I want. I'm afraid I keep my finances in a bit of a scramble.
Uh-huh. Well, first thing tomorrow, I'll see if I can't reorganize things for you.
And tonight?
Well, for starters, there's a spot overlooking the lake I'd like you to see.
Mr. Jones, I'm afraid it's a little late.
You'll just take a minute, Miss Blake. I just want to speak with Mr. Travis.
Excuse me.
Mr. Travis isn't available right now.
I'm sorry, Ms. Blake, but it's very urgent that I talk with Mr. Travis right away.
I told you, Mr. Jones, this is my center. Whatever you have to say, you can say to me, or else you can wait until tomorrow and make an appointment.
No, ma'am. There are some things that can only be said man to man.
Betty, I have to speak to someone.
Oh, I understand. It's all right.
No, it isn't. It won't take long. I'll come to your cabin.
I'll be waiting.
You see, when one man apologizes to another, I feel he should do it face to face.
Well, if there's any apology owed, I think it's owed to me.
Well, I'm sorry, Ms. Blake, but Mr. Travis being a man, I'm sure he understands how I feel.
I might understand a little better if you got on with it, Mr. Jones.
Well, I must confess that when I first came out here, I thought you two were lying to me.
Lying? About what?
About Mr. Lockman's failing to keep an appointment with you. Matter of fact, I thought you might have even gone out to his place and maybe even killed him.
How absurd.
When the coroner's report on Mr. Lockman failed to indicate any immediate allergic reaction, you can see why I thought that the accident had been staged.
Well, perhaps so, but why would you think Bob and I would have been involved?
Well, that's rather embarrassing. No good detective ever likes to be caught jumping to conclusions.
What conclusions?
The money that Mr. Lockman's clients turned over to you. Now, I'll admit that I'm always too quick to seize on greed as a motive. You said yourself, check with the ladies, and I'll swear that no man ever got a finer recommendation than you did from Ms. Howard and Ms. Wrightwood.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, you'll probably also be glad to hear that I've just about wound up my investigation. I won't be troubling you anymore, just as soon as I have an interview with Miss Granger.
What does she have to do with Mr. Lockman?
Well, I won't know that until I talk to her.
Ruth Granger's given up her residence here at the center. I doubt that we can be of much help to you there.
Oh. Well, knowing women, as I do, and their unpredictability, it's likely she could be in Tallahassee or Timbuktu by now. Well, thank you for your time. And once again, my apologies.
Pompous, archaic, chauvinistic, antique.
Don't believe a word of it.
What?
That was no apology you just heard. He was conning us.
But he just said...
I know what he said. The question is why. What's he up to? Come on. Sure. She knew exactly what she was looking for. You work for Jones, don't you?
What are we gonna do?
Exactly what I said. We finish with Ms. Enright here, or whatever her name is, and then we leave.
But, Bob, Jones must know that she's here.
Of course he does. It will do you no good to kill me, you know. Barnaby already knows that you killed George Lockman, and that Ruth Granger didn't leave here of her own free will.
Please, let's just give it up now.
No. If Jones had proof, he'd have gone to the place long ago. We could be long gone from here before he comes back for her. Okay, let's go. And just remember, I won't need much excuse to use this.
Hold it, Travis.
It's all over. It is for her if you make another move.
Miss Blake, tell him to let her go. I've already contacted the police. There's no chance for you to get away.
Travis.
Betty!
never been so happy to see anybody in my whole life.
You were supposed to be back in your cabin by 8:15.
I guess I got carried away being a spy.
Harry couldn't have done better.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen, also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Mitchell Ryan, Jacqueline Scott, James Callahan, Robert Mandan, John Carter. Tonight's episode, Counterfall.
May I help you?
Well, I don't know. My name is Greg Alban. I received the subpoena to appear in court. Must be some mistake. I didn't witness any accident.
Well, it looks in order. There is some mistake. I'm afraid you'll have to explain it to the court.
No, you don't understand.
I'll check on it. You sit right over there. I'll call you.
Press conference.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll have your questions ready, Judge Lennox has a full docket. He can only give you 5 minutes. Your Honor? All right, now don't growl.
Is it true, Judge Lennox, that you intend to reject your appointment to the state Supreme Court?
Well, gentlemen, you know as well as I do, the governor hasn't made his selection public.
Senator Fox says you're far and away the odds-on favorite, sir.
I know, fellows, you're familiar with my feelings of the importance of the lower court decisions. I feel the present bench I occupy is an essential example of that principle. Now, if I were to get the appointment, there's no way, unless of my good conscience, could I...
Your Honor! Hey, out of the way. Hey, get him. Come on. Watch out, he's got a gun. He's going right now.
Stay away from me.
Stay away, officer. Stay back.
Keep rolling, Eddie.
All of you, stand back. Don't you follow me. Where are the deputies?
Where are the phones?
Where are the deputies? Where are the deputies?
shot. He's dead. Get a plane to do a fall. Thank God.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night-night.
See you in the morning.
Righto.
Don't move.
You can count on it.
Where's your gun? Easy. All right, now your wallet.
Whatever you find in there isn't going to make it all worthwhile.
All right, stay where you are.
If you took a correspondence course in armed robbery, post office must have lost one of your lessons.
There's $5,000 in there.
Yeah, I see it. What's it for?
My name is Greg Albin, and I want you to find out who murdered me today.
I think you've got it backwards. On the 5 o'clock news, I saw you murder Judge Lennox today.
That's what you think you saw. But my life ended in that courthouse today.
Smartest thing you can do is turn yourself into the police.
I've been in jail once. They'll never believe me. Not after the way I was set up. I was framed.
The APB they've got out on you says you're armed and dangerous. They'll take you, alive or dead.
It doesn't matter. Unless someone can help me, it's all over for me anyway. But I want you to find out who pulled that trigger.
I'll need more information on this.
Look, I've heard about you, Mr. Jones. Now, I've risked my life for these few minutes here. Please find out. Please. For my wife and for my kids, I'm not a murderer. Somebody's got to believe that. All right, don't move. Don't move. The keys. You're my only hope, Mr. Jones. Please.
You close the door, darling. Close it hard. Oh, can you hold it?
Morning.
Look, no more, please. I mean, reporters or police, I said everything I had to say last night.
Mrs. Albin, my name is Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator. Your husband hired me.
Greg hired you? I don't understand.
Well, neither do I. She gave me $5,000 last night.
This is some kind of a trick, isn't it, Mr. Jones?
Well, if it is, it's a pretty expensive one, just to answer a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Did he mention Judge Lennox? He told me he'd been behind bars.
It was Judge Lennox who put him there.
Were you married at the time?
Greg escaped from prison about a year before we met. He was innocent then, and I believe he still is.
Well, if he's innocent, he ought to turn himself over to the authorities.
I don't know where he is. And if I did, I wouldn't...
Mrs. Albin, this case has had a lot of exposure. The police will probably find him within a matter of hours. The way he talked last night, he didn't intend to be taken alive.
Oh, no.
It doesn't have to end this way.
You can help him?
Well, that's what he hired me for, but I can't help him unless I can find him.
Don't do that, darling. Please. He started his first machine shop in a little place at 123 Netter. He kept it for storage at first when he built the big building across town, but whenever he has a problem to think through, he still goes back there. Calls it his hiding place.
Thank you. What the devil are you doing here, Barnaby?
Is Albert in there? And officers were making a routine check of the property when they spotted him. Now, two of you guys go around in that alley there. Cover that way. You two guys get up on the roof. Give me that bullhorn.
Alvin, nobody has to get hurt. Just throw your gun out and come out with your hands in the air. You don't stand a chance.
You get down Albin's arm.
He's also my client.
This business must be getting tough to come by.
He's got a wife and 2 kids. I don't think he wants to see anybody killed, except maybe himself.
Barnaby Jones, Craig. I want to come in and talk to you.
There's nothing to talk about now, Mr. Jones. Change things.
Barnaby, will you get back here until he's in custody? This is my responsibility.
Just trying to keep a big mistake from happening.
He made the mistake when he killed Judge Lennox. Now, will you get back here? I don't want anybody else hurt.
Hold it, Albert. Don't be a fool, Greg.
Get an ambulance out here on the double.
He'll need it. He's in bad shape.
I had no choice, Barnaby.
Yeah, I know. Strange thing about him, he didn't think he did either.
How's it look, Doctor?
His vital signs are stabilizing enough for surgery, but it's marginal.
What are his chances?
1 in 4, maybe. You'll have to excuse me, gentlemen. I have to check on the OR.
Boy, I'd give a month's pay if he had said even money.
If Greg had fired, you might have paid with a lot more.
I better call in.
Mrs. Albin, they're preparing to take him into surgery now. He has a fighting chance.
Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Jones, this is Hilda Waters, Greg's secretary.
Miss Waters?
Mr. Jones, Mr. Albin is a very fine man. And those terrible things they're saying about him are just not true.
Miss Waters, is there any reason for Mr. Albin to have been upset yesterday? Was there any trouble at the office?
No, sir. Why, he had a smile for everyone. He's the nicest man I've ever worked for.
Is there any explanation for his going down to the courthouse yesterday?
Why, to answer the subpoena.
What subpoena?
A man delivered it just before closing, the day before yesterday.
Did you see the man?
No. But the subpoena said that Mr. Albin was to appear as a witness at 9 o'clock yesterday morning.
Betty, would you check that out?
Certainly. The court clerk's office is still open. I can just make it.
Barnaby?
Excuse me.
Ballistics just checked the gun. It's the same weapon that killed Judge Lennox.
Are you certain?
There's no question. Also, we've nailed Albin. Real name is Arnold. Went down for armed robbery 1 to 10. He and his cellmate busted San Quentin 8 years ago.
His cellmate?
Kelly. Dennis Kelly. He turned himself back in and served his time. Cleared parole about a year ago.
His cellmate ought to know more about Greg than anyone.
Barnaby, we've got Albin locked. That armed robbery charge?
Yeah, what about it?
The judge that sentenced him was Judge Lennox. Now, that day, Albin threatened that if he ever got free, he'd kill him. 50 witnesses, Barnaby. We've got our man.
Maybe, Lieutenant. But until I tie up some loose ends, I've still got a client. Hey. Thank you. Mr. Kelly?
Yeah.
I'm Barnaby Jones.
I know you.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about Greg Albin, alias Arnold, ex-cellmate of yours.
Look, I did my time. I served parole. I haven't seen or heard of Greg in 8 years.
I'm not a police officer, Mr. Kelly. I'm a private investigator. Trying to help Greg any way I can. Figured you two were friends.
Sit down. We broke out together. Can't get much closer than that.
But you went back.
Yeah, I got scared. Of the same thing that finally happened to Greg. How's he doing?
Not too well. He claims that he was innocent of that armed robbery charge.
I was the only guilty man ever in San Quentin, Mr. Jones.
Did he ever talk to you about Judge Lennox?
The hanging judge? I'll pass on that.
He's the judge that sentenced you, isn't he?
No, I was luckier. I wasn't straight with you just now. I saw Greg about 6 months after I got out.
Did he still maintain he was innocent?
Yeah, like always. But Lennox, no, he never got over that hang-up. Even the last time I saw him.
When was that?
About a month ago. It was like he was right back in that cell block. Lennox was an obsession with him. He wanted him dead, Mr. Jones.
Help!
Oh, excuse me. I got it. Come on, honey. Mr. Jones, this is my fiancée, Miss Whitley. How do you do?
How would you like to dive into a nice, cool daiquiri, Mr. Jones? Only take a second.
Well, thank you, but all my daiquiris come straight from the dairy. Nice to meet you.
Mr. Kelly? Mr. Jones?
Craig's wife and kids, if they need anything, money, anything, let me know.
Thank you. I'll bear that in mind.
Well, I got your message to meet you here. What's all this about?
Did you get anything?
Absolutely zero. I went through every subpoena record for the last 3 months. I even went through all of the bailiff receipts. There is no record of a subpoena issued to a Greg Albin.
That's what I suspected. It's customary to give a witness reasonable notice.
You made me go through all that work for nothing.
Maybe for something.
Room's all set and ready to roll, Mr. J.
Betty, you remember Snipper Wilcox?
I sure do. How are you, Snipper? How's the girlfriend?
Well, I haven't seen much of her since Mr. J got my wheels back for me. You see, when she asked to borrow my car, I didn't know that she meant forever. You ready, Mr. J?
Anytime.
Roll it, Harry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have your questions ready. Judge Lennox has a full docket. He can only give you 5 minutes. Your Honor? All right, now don't growl.
Is it true, Judge Lennox, that you intend to reject your appointment to the state Supreme Court?
Gentlemen, you know as well as I do, the governor hasn't made his selection public.
Senator Fox says you're far and away the odds-on favorite, sir.
All right, now, fellas, you know my feelings as far as the importance of the lower court's decisions. I feel that the present bench I occupy is the
Can you cut the sound?
Of that principle.
Sure.
Now, if I were...
Yeah, it's just about here that Albin fires.
I wish I could be as sure as that makes it seem.
Well, that's it, Mr. J.
Didn't I see another cameraman at that press conference? Any chance of getting his footage?
Yeah, maybe. I'll take a few phone calls.
I'd appreciate it.
You got it.
Call me when you get the other film.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I said. Take all the action you can on Calaveras. If I ever led you wrong, the word from his coach is the kid's ulcer's acting up. 3 hard games, he won't get a racket on full reserve. That's right. And we pull the usual percentage. Great. See you when you get to the coast. Kelly, how's it going?
Grootman's contribution from the Midwest basketball action.
Yeah, a little better than we expected.
This isn't.
Well, the police will take responsibility for shooting him.
Rex, I set Greg up to do some hard time for Judge Lennox's death, not to get him killed.
Would you rather have me standing in front of Lennox for that fight-fixing charge? He would have thrown the book at me.
I just wish it could have been done some other way.
Well, there was no other way. Lennox refused to change a venue. He refused to take himself off the case. He wanted to nail me, Kelly.
I know. I just hate to see a good guy like Greg go down for it, that's all.
Now, don't forget, you got a stake in this, too. My lawyer tells me that the judge who's going to hear the case now is good for no more than 6-month sentence, maybe even suspended. Or either way, you may have to take over for a while.
Don't worry, I can handle it.
Hey, look. Riker took Lennox out. The police have their man. They have their motive. It's over and it's clean. Well, just try and forget it.
Just like that, huh?
That will make you feel better when things have cooled down. I'll figure out a way to see that Albin's wife and kids are taken care of, okay?
You'll have to do better than that.
What are you talking about?
I had a visit from a private detective, Barnaby Jones. He's nosing around trying to prove that Greg didn't kill Judge Lennox.
But what can he prove? There are 10 million witnesses.
I know. But just in case he comes up with something, remember, it's my neck that's sticking out. I'm the only one involved that can be tied directly to Greg.
Okay. I'll phone Cincinnati. I'll fly Riker out again to keep an eye on. What's his name?
Jones. Barnaby Jones.
Mr. Jones gets too close, we'll put him out of business, okay?
See you in Ward B in about 5 minutes.
Oh, Doctor, how is he?
Well, the next 24 hours should tell us a lot. You know, for a man who tried to get himself killed, he's putting up one devil of a fight in there right now.
When can I see him?
As soon as we set up the monitors, we'll move him into his room. It shouldn't be more than a half an hour.
If you'd like to, I could hold these questions.
No, it'll probably take my mind off things.
Ms. Albin, do you know a man named Dennis Kelly?
Oh, I don't want to get him into trouble.
Well, Mr. Kelly himself said that he had kept in touch with Greg.
Greg felt very close to Dennis. I think he was grateful that he had someone he didn't have to lie to other than me.
Did you ever hear him say that he'd like to see Judge Lennox dead?
Oh, no. Greg was really like a different man once he took on the responsibility of a family. In his business.
During the last week when Judge Lennox was in the news, Greg didn't even then discuss him with you?
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, he did say something. He said that he thought the judge should take the vacancy because we needed a strong man to balance out the court right now.
You sure?
Absolutely. He said that he thought the judge was a fair man. That he was wrong in Greg's case, but there was a difference between being wrong and being fair.
Cheers.
Oh,
Gracias. Oh, Lieutenant, glad to see you made it.
You know, I put away guys who don't con nearly as well as you do. Hello, Betty.
Inés, tres más, una más, número,
One more number 3. Pull up a chair. What got your dander up?
Now, this is what you were about to ask for. This way I saved myself the indignity of being bribed by a couple of enchiladas.
Betty, do you recall my saying anything about bribing an officer of the law?
well, when I invited the lieutenant to join us for lunch, I did drop a hint that you would like to see the files on Greg Albin and Dennis Kelly. Now, if that constitutes bribery, well,
Why Dennis Kelly, Barnaby?
I just wanted to see a comparison of the records of your model parolee and the vicious escapee who is my client.
So now all of a sudden Kelly belongs to me.
Who is World Promotion Enterprises he works for?
Well, they produce arena events, conventions, rock concerts. What is it, Barnaby? Albin has got to be the lamest case you've ever taken. Why?
I'd like an answer to that myself.
Well, you know that big insurance company down the block, they have a 2-year rider in their policies against payment on suicide cases.
Well, now, what does that have to do with Albin?
Well, the odds are 10,000 to 1 that anyone bent on self-destruction will change his mind within 2 years.
So?
You want me to believe that Albin waited to raise a family, build a successful business. He had everything in the world to live for, and then suddenly decided to go back and follow through on an 8-year-old threat to kill a judge?
Okay. But you said yourself there can be 1 in 10,000.
I want a little better bet than that. Say, 4 to 1 that you asked for seconds on those enchiladas.
The sauce, please. Sure. And the pepper.
Yeah, Turner. Don't worry, I'm with them.
I'll wait for your signal.
Yes, it's your phone. Help, please, out. Find out.
Right there. You know these fellas?
Well, most of them. We all work the same street.
The guy in the dark blue suit and the mustache, do you know him?
No. Why him?
He's in the area the shots came from, and he's the only one with his hands free. All the rest of them are holding mics or notepads.
You mean other than Albin?
Hey, Mr. J, you mean you really think that one of these guys shot Lennox? Hey, would you close that door? We're working in here. Hey, come on.
I'll get it, Snoopy.
Thanks.
Can you move this ahead one frame at a time?
Sure.
Who? Now, in all the confusion, the man in a dark blue suit is the only one who moved directly to Albin, where the shots are supposed to have come from. Could I have this piece of film?
No sooner said than done. There you go.
Thank you. With hands like that, you should have been a surgeon.
Are you kidding? I am. The only problem is that most of my patients have a chance at the box office to die over and over again. Is there anything else I can do for you, Mr. J?
What about the trims from the other stations?
Well, I spliced them all together in sequence, except for the light cues and the slates. They're really nothing but a bunch of junk. They're at the end of that sequence.
I don't mind double features. Go.
Okay. As I said, it's nothing but a bunch of junk. Copy shop. Cameramen can never resist a good-looking chick.
Who?
What do you want to bet? He wants an 8x10 blow-up of that one.
You're just about right, because unless my eyesight is failing, that is Joan Whitley, Dennis Kelly's fiancée. Snipper, get your scissors.
Got him. For you.
Thanks, Snipper. That's one I owe you.
Anytime, Mr. J. Bye, Betty.
Bye-bye, Snipper.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
I just came by to pick up the Lennox film.
Oh, well, you don't have to do that. I plan to have the cans picked up in the morning.
Yeah, well, we need it tonight.
Hey, wait a minute, don't I know you? Yeah, that's right. You're the guy who was with the other reporters in the Lennox film. What are you, with KBEX?
Yeah, but we'd like to look at all of it.
Oh, sure. Sure, why don't I check it out at the station first, okay? Just be a second.
Barnaby, sometimes I'm not sure whether I should be on the city's payroll or yours.
What's the difference as long as the work gets done? Betty, would you get the lights?
Oh, I recognize Kelly's mugshot. Who's this?
Joan Whitley, Kelly's fiancée.
I don't get it.
Well, last night, an editor friend of mine ran some film for me. This blow-up is from film taken in the corridor of the courthouse just moments before Lennox was shot.
Any idea what she was doing there?
Well, there's no record of Albin's subpoena. Barnaby thinks that she was used to make Albin think that it was legitimate.
Next, you'll tell me that it was Kelly who pulled the trigger.
No, that's the reason I blew up that picture. No amount of disguise could make this fella look like him. I got a hunch he's a pro and a good one.
Well, you do plan to tell me why you think this fella's the one that hit Lennox.
In analyzing the film, he is the only one that could have pulled the trigger and have a chance to plant the gun on Albin. Recognize him?
I don't know. If there was no mustache and the hair was just a little lighter, I've had flyers on a guy named Riker out of Cincinnati.
Professional killer?
No convictions. They just send us an alert when they think he might be headed this way, but I can't be sure.
No mustache. Lighter hair. That closer?
That's close enough. But if he made the hit, where's the motive?
Now, Lieutenant, I'm not going to tie this up in as neat a package as they did on Albin.
Barnaby, that was the television station. When they went to send the film out this morning, it was missing.
Did they check Wilcox?
Snipper didn't show up for work this morning, and they can't locate him.
He's the man who got the film for me.
I'll have it checked out.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
Mr. Jones, I know who killed Judge Lennox. I was there. I saw it.
It must seem that way, Mr. Byrne, but hypothetically, was there anyone else who might have had a motive?
No, nobody. Judge Lennox had the best rehabilitation record in the state.
And how did he get his reputation as a hanging judge?
He didn't deserve that name. That came to him when he handed down a stiff sentence to a football player who had thrown several games. There was a lot of publicity. Everybody expected a slap on the wrist. But the judge was very firm. Clayton Lennox believed that competitive sports was the root of national character.
He actually held an Olympic medal, didn't he?
Yes, sir, he did.
Are there any recent decisions the judge handed down involving sports or sports promotion, anything like that?
No, sir. I've been going over the docket for the past 2 years. I'm certain there was nothing.
What about the future docket? Any cases there where he could have been rough on a guilty defendant?
I'll look. Here's something. The People versus Rex Turner.
Does that have anything to do with sports?
This man Turner is under indictment for attempting to fix a state welterweight title fight.
By any coincidence, does Mr. Turner have any connection with World Promotion Enterprises?
As a matter of fact, he's president of the company. I remember that because his attorneys tried very hard to get the case taken off Judge Lennox's docket.
It's off now, isn't it?
Mr. Jones.
Miss Whitley. Oh, Mr. Kelly certainly is a fortunate man. Have both a secretary and a fiancée all wrapped up in one pretty package.
Thank you.
I think I have some good news for him. Could I see him for just a moment?
I'll see.
I think the staircase is too wide at this point. Well, perhaps we'll just move this whole section. Yes?
Mr. Barnaby Jones to see Mr. Kelly?
Send him in.
Ah, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Kelly.
Come right in. This is our president, Rex Turner. Barnaby Jones.
You do. I know you'll be happy to learn that the doctors tell me that Greg has a better than 50-50 chance of making it.
Oh, that is good news.
But he faces the rest of his life in prison.
Maybe not. That is, if you can help me. Is this man an employee of yours?
Well, I don't believe so. Who is it?
I believe his name is Riker. And it could just be that he is the man who murdered Judge Lennox.
Oh, come, Mr. Jones, that's a bit of a reach, isn't it?
Not really. You see, that picture is blown up from some film taken in the courtroom corridor the morning Judge Lennox was killed. I have another picture of Miss Whitley, taken at the same place, same time.
Well, that's a very good likeness. But that's not me.
No, couldn't be. Joan was here all that morning.
You may have to prove that, Miss Whitley.
She can. But your implication that this photo was genuine will have to be proved. Otherwise, I won't allow you to intimidate one of my employees. Do you have that film?
Funny. That sounds like a question you already have the answer to. Don't bother, I'll find my way out.
Get Riker on his car phone. Have him hit him now.
Well, what'd you find out?
Afraid I'm losing my touch. It'd take a snake and 6 pounds of dynamite to shake that bunch.
Well, do you think it could be wrong?
What troubles me is how they can stay so cool when they know I'm so close. Betty, do exactly as I tell you.
What is it?
That's Riker behind us. Go inside and call Lieutenant Biddle. Now. Freeze, Riker. Drop it. Too bad, Riker. There's one contract you should have let Turner put out for bids.
Mr. Jones, I appreciate everything you've done for me, for both of us. But I think I should apologize.
No need to. Since Riker admitted he killed Judge Lennox and Snipper Wilcox, Turner, Kelly, and his girlfriend are apologizing for you.
To Lieutenant Biddle.
Betty, let's you and I get out of here and leave Mr. and Mrs. Albin a little time to themselves.
Thank you for everything. Both of you.
Oh, by the way, I have a lawyer friend who said in view of your record and all you've been through, and the fact it's been in the paper and all, the governor might have a sympathetic ear for a pardon.
That's too much to even wish for.
I don't know. My mother always used to say, wishes come true for good people. You both qualify.
Thank you very much.